I mean, our society is based on propagating and encouraging the growth of those very defilements which the Lord Buddha said were the cause of our suffering. For example, our greed and our aggression. I mean, look at the movies people watch. That says it all. And that greed and aggression is based on the basic misconception of who we truly are, which again in our modern society, self-aggrandizement is regarded as being a virtue. So the fact that you have more and bigger greeds and bigger needs makes you a better person in modern society. You know, you have a bigger car, a bigger house, a bigger everything, you're more and more. This makes you more and more of a person of substance in the eyes of the world. And I mean, this is a fundamental delusion which all spiritual paths have understood. It doesn't lead to happiness. People desperately want to be happy. And they create more and more of the causes of their suffering. If that's not delusion, what is? Anything which means that they have to give up their comforts, they're not willing to do. The majority of the people. There are always going to be people on the outsides who are willing to do something, but the real people who really matter, they're not interested. And you look even in Asia now, more and more people, the middle class is coming up, which is greatly acclaimed by everybody, but it just means that they're buying more, consuming more, and using up more and more of the earth's resources. And they're not going to be told, no, you should be content with little, and stop using your cars, and stop using, your refrigerators and so forth. Who is going to listen to that? They're going to say, well, let America do it first. They're the ones to tell us. What about them? We want all these things that you've always had. Don't you tell us to give it up. And now we're talking about billions of people thinking like that. In Asia, in China, in India. Everybody is dreaming of having a car and a television and a refrigerator and on and on and on and on. They're not thinking about, going back to what they had before, which was very little, and contentment. I mean, all the media, everywhere, advertisements, movies showing people, even ordinary so-called people, living like gods. And then everybody thinks that's what I want. Not so easy, is it? Politicians can talk. Gore, Al Gore and people like this, but at the end of the day, the population is rising and rising and rising, and to my mind, this is the greatest threat to the world. So many people, how's the world going to support so many people? So maybe the answer for them is, all right, we blow up half the world and then, we've got room for the rest of us. So everything which comes into our mind, if we recognize it in the moment that it arises, if we accept it, we can then just let it go. We don't have to hold on to it. We don't have to give it energy. We don't have to be swept away. We are on the riverbank, looking at the river flowing. We are not right in the middle of the river being swept along. We can all do this. The nature of the mind is naturally knowing. Without that, we would be dead. So all we have to do is go back to what we really are and stop identifying with the wrong thing. There was a very great Thai forest master called Ajahn Chah. And recently I was reading his biography. And in that, when he was in the forest training under several masters, at some point he came to exactly this. He realized that basically the mind, I wish I had it, I should have brought it with me. He puts it very succinctly, but that the mind basically is that which is known and that which knows. And the whole point is simply to dwell with that which knows. Start identifying with that which knows and stop identifying with the known. That's all. It's so easy. Really, I mean, 98% of your problems are solved, if not 100, just by doing that. But we don't do it. It's interesting that we don't do it. When one is in the presence of a very great Lama with whom there is a deep karmic connection, it can happen that if one's own mind is very open and receptive, completely without expectations, but very open, he can give what is called, in Tibetan it's called ngotro. It means like pointing out, introducing you. And he can introduce you to the nature of the mind. He doesn't give you anything. You already have it. And it's a very simple experience. It's nothing, it's not, you know, rainbow lights and trumpets. It's very simple, but in that moment, just for a moment, everything falls apart. And there is just that moment of total naked awareness. It's extremely simple. It's so simple that you can miss it very easily because we always expect that somehow it's going to be some really great experience, something really, and normally it's so plain, so bare. That almost people might think that can't be it. One time, one of our yogis up the hill was giving a lung, an oral transmission of one very famous Dzogchen text. Dzogchen is the mind training of the Nyingma school. And he was, of course, reading it out. And then he stopped and he said, you know, the problem with these kind of books is that it makes it all sound very high and very far and very fantastic. And it's so simple. It's so right here. And so you're looking out there in the future for some incredible thing to happen. And all the time, actually, moment to moment, it's already happening. But we don't recognize it. You see, every time you hear a sound, everything you see, you can only see, you can only recognize a sound because of awareness. If we had no awareness, we would be like a corpse. But we don't recognize that awareness because we're so fascinated by our senses. Do you understand? Because we're so captivated by this panorama outside and all the panorama inside, all our thoughts and memories and daydreams and hopes and dreams, we miss the fact that behind all that is the knowing of it. I sometimes wonder what the Buddha would think of it if he came back and looked around and said, how did I start this, you know, and what did I say that this is what they ended up with? I mean, our society is based on propagating and encouraging the growth of those very defilements which the Lord Buddha said were the cause of our suffering. For example, our greed and our aggression. And that greed and aggression is based on the basic misconception of who we truly are, which again in our modern society, self-aggrandizement is regarded as being a virtue. So the fact that you have more and more and bigger greeds and bigger needs makes you more and more of a person of substance in the eyes of the world. And I mean, this is a fundamental delusion which all spiritual paths have understood. It doesn't lead to happiness. People desperately want to be happy. And they create more and more of the causes of their suffering. If that's not delusion, what is? Human beings have this incredible potential, you know, to become really beyond the gods. But mostly what they do with their human potential is to destroy both themselves and others. I mean, instead of being something wonderful and benign, we've become like a cancer on this planet, destroying everything. I mean, destroying all the nature, destroying all the animals, destroying each other, destroying ourselves. I mean, it would be nice if someone would come along and find some method by which people could awaken. But even the Buddha couldn't do that. So how to collectively wake up? I don't know. Big bang, miracle.